it's been researched for years and years. In fact, the earliest research that I could find was in 1890 by a psychologist named William James. And he said that as we age, time actually speeds up, in our minds at least, because we have fewer memories. So what is the secret to time and time perception? Well, routine means we perceive time fast, but novelty and unique memories means we perceive time moving a little slower. So the secret is adding novelty and creating uniqueness in every day of our life. That's how we can slow down time. And I have a couple role models I want to tell you about. So I met Bill and Susan by the pool in my apartment complex a couple weeks ago. And Bill told me this story. He's retired, they're both retired. And he said he and Susan went to Davis Island one day, and they went to visit a store. And when they came out of that store, they noticed there was a policeman putting a ticket on the car. So Bill runs over to the policeman. He says, hey, whoa, I got a break. I'm a retiree. Can't you give me a break? And the policeman was having none of it. The policeman continued to write out that ticket. So as Bill's telling the story, he's getting more animated, and he says, he calls the cop basically a moron. Well, what's the cop going to do? He puts that ticket on the car and gets out another one. So now Susan jumps into the story, and Susan says, oh, you! And she calls the policeman an imbecile.
Oh
so what's the cop going to do? He takes that second ticket and puts it on the car and gets his tablet and gets out another one. So this goes on, Bill says, for about 20 minutes. And Susan jumps in again and she goes, yeah, the more we abused him, the more tickets he wrote out. So I'm listening, and I think this is a great story, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So Bill pauses for a minute and looks at Susan, and the next words I will never forget. Bill says that as that policeman is putting probably ticket number 6 on the car, the bus rolls up, and Susan, get on the bus, and off they go. And Bill says, we're retirees, we got to keep life interesting, right? So Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests, our brains perceive time in different ways, and we can decide. We really have control on whether we're going to let time go by, our lives go by like this, or maybe a little slower. So one thing we can do, we can have long, luxurious days, or we can have short, rush days. But we can do that by remembering a couple things. For one, so unique memories, right? So when we're young, time seems to go by slow because everything is new. It's our first day at school. It's our first time driving. It's our first love. And so all of that is new, and we're learning about life and how society operates and all of that. But as we grow older and as adults, we kind of been there, done that, and life becomes a little routine and predictable. And so that's when all of that time starts to fly by. And a week and a day or in a month and a year go by, and we're like, what happened? Time flew by. So there's a researcher, and his name is Stephen Wiles, and he says that we can back up and slow down time. We can't literally slow it down, but we can slow it down in our minds by adding some more novelty back into our lives. Adding some of those first, even as adults. And they don't have to be, wild, crazy vacations. All that's encouraged, If you can afford that, go for it. But even something as simple as rearranging the furniture in your house. Maybe taking a new route to work. Or how about giving a speech at Toastmasters? Some kind of new adventure or experience in your life can literally slow down and prevent your life from flying by. So we seek those first, and we slow our lives down. What would you like to do, Emmanuel? Would you like to slow down life? Or when you're at the end of your want to think back to when you were 18 and say, where did life go? Or do you, Sheila, want to think back on your life and say, damn, girl, I lived a full life. In fact, I might have lived 2 or 3 in my time. So keep these in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we can literally, okay, maybe not literally, but we can slow our lives down by adding some novelty, breaking those routines, and adding a little adventure in our lives. Just like the elderly farmer out in Plant City. So this gentleman, he